In this lesson, we're going to talk about how to set up a XAMPP server on your local machine. So this will allow you to run PHP code right on your local machine. So just like that. So we've got the echo welcome, and we've got welcome being displayed. So if I change that within the source code, you can see that it also changes on the local system. So in order to set this up, we're using XAMPP, which is a free Apache, MySQL, PHP, Perl development environment that you can download for Windows, Linux, and OS X. So just go over to the website apachefriends.org, and there right on the main page you can download whatever version it is that you need to run on your system, so Windows, Linux, or OS X. And XAMPP is probably one of the quickest ways to set up PHP right on your system. So once you've downloaded that, just do an install, and there's going to be some configuration as well, unless you want to use the default XAMPP directory for localhost, which once you run that, you get a XAMPP control panel, and here you can start and stop. Also, you've got some options for admin. You can start and stop Apache, MySQL, FileZilla, Mercury, Tomcat, and it's as easy as click of a button. You've got some configuration options, you've got some logs, as well as you're able to open up the shell here. And then you've got a whole bunch of options to download add-ons for XAMPP as well. So if you're setting up a WordPress, you want to run WordPress locally, Drupal, and depending on what site you want to run, there's a whole bunch of options that you could download and very easily install. And if you notice that my local page is php5.localhost, and my code is sitting within a directory that's not the standard XAMPP directory. So in order to change that, what I've done is on two separate files. So I've opened up the hosts file, which is located at Windows System32 drivers etc hosts, and just gone down and added this host entry. So this is the local host, and I'm just getting the DNS to translate for the local host over to php5.localhost. So you can call this whatever you want it depending on which project you're running, and in order to change the directory for the XAMPP where it's pointing to within the new XAMPP file, there's two lines of code that you have to change, so 243 and 244. By default, it'll be pointing to the XAMPP htdocs directory. So all you have to do is just change that to whatever directory you want to use. So I've got it on my H drive, I've got a folder called websites, and I'm just going right to php5, which is the folder name. And that's where my index is sitting, and that's where it's translating over to the local host. You can as well use the default directory for XAMPP, which is just C XAMPP htdocs. And this is what gets installed by default. So you can see that once you do scroll down, all you have to do is go into the XAMPP and then find the htdocs folder, which is right there. And you can see that by default, if you're not redirecting the main directory, it's just going to have the index page there, and you can also work out of this for your local machine. If you don't have multiple projects, if you've only got one project that you're working on in XAMPP, then this would be fine. But if you are working on multiple projects, you might want to repoint your directory. So changing it to wherever your files are located, and remember once again that it is a / like this as opposed to a backward slash, because this is local. And also when you are opening and closing your XAMPP, when you are making changes, you want to make sure that you stop and then restart the server to make sure that it is running properly and that it has taken in the latest changes. Within XAMPP, then you've got some options for configuration. So by default, I'm just using Notepad. So Notepad is a great editor, also open source, so Notepad++. We're going to be providing links to all of these, to Notepad, to XAMPP, within the resource folder of this course. And then you also has options here to specify a browser, and as well as what you want to auto start when XAMPP does start. And some of the reasons for using XAMPP is that it's fairly straightforward. It's really easy to kind of get going and set up. You can download, and once it's installed, you can quickly and easily just start Apache, start MySQL, start FileZilla, Mercury, Tomcat by default, as well as you've got all the options of the add-ons that you can download. But by no means for this course do you have to download this. If you've got another local machine that you're using, you can use that as well for following along within this course.